the surprise we had for you guys is now about to turn up. And I think it's safe to say he's really gone and done it this time. Look what he's bought. We did have a quick look at this, literally at lunch, and there's a hint of what's wrong with it. It is absolutely humping out oil. So we need to have a look at that in a second, and there's loads of other bits which we'll go through with you guys in a second. What we're going to do. What have you done?
I haven't done anything. It's a Range Rover.
So do you want to explain to us what you've done?
So I've been wanting an L322 for a long time, since Alex got his first one.
What, with a loose headlamp? Or?
No, there's a few. It's a Range Rover. Yeah. So I've been searching Marketplace forever, and this one came up. So we went on a little jolly, went and had a look.
We went and had a look, didn't we? And to be fair, the bloke was pretty decent, but he was hiding a few, should we call them, discrepancies.
Yeah. We really should weld these bumpers on, but that takes time, equipment, money. So we use super glue instead.
For example, the first thing I would do, what I normally do on these cars, is look under it. And I noticed there was an alarming amount of engine oil.
There's a lot of oil under there.
And for some absolute miracle, the owner was totally oblivious to this, even though it was all over the cats, wasn't it? It's gone the whole way down the car, basically. It's a complete mess.
Not too long ago.
Literally just been MOT'd. Squeak from the front, which we
didn't know about because he'd pre-warmed the car up, which was handy as well.
He'd warmed it up as well. You might have heard it on the video when
the wife off somewhere. Yeah. Apparently.
You might have heard it when Kieran drove it into the workshop just now.
A couple of squeaky belts.
So we need to do belts. Obviously going to do an oil change. Now, what seems to be notorious on these is the oil cooler. I have a gasket on there which leaks. Now, we've looked at the top of the engine and there's engine oil coming down either side of the gearbox. So, and it looks like it's in the middle of the V. So,
well, yeah.
It's very hard to see on these engines, but
there's not a lot of room to play.
There's not, and judging by what people are saying online, we know how common that fault is, and we've had a look from the top, and you can look in the V where the oil cooler is, which we'll show you in a second, and there's a lot of oil in there, so it makes sense that it probably is this. So we're going to make a start on ripping this thing apart and seeing what we can find, don't we?
And fingers crossed, it's just what we think it is.
Hopefully.
Yeah, otherwise Alex is going to buy it off me.
Maybe. For the right price. Oh yeah. How much did you pay for it?
So, what was it advertised at?
7.5, wasn't it?
Something about 7.5 maybe. And obviously we did the whole...
Not forgetting, it is a Westminster.
Oh, hello.
Edition. So it is spec'd up.
Every single option on it, and it's the 12 plate, so it's the last of the L322, but they just throw everything on it. So
it's wicked spec, I have to say.
Bear in mind, I was looking at a Vogue SE, I think, or just a Vogue beforehand for the same price.
Are they slightly executive? Is that what the SE stands for?
Possibly. I was trying to think of
I don't know.
I was trying to think of something clever to say, but I couldn't think of it on the spot. For the same sort of money, and we haggled him down to 6.5.
6.5, which I think is a fair price considering.
So we pointed out a couple of tyres, didn't we? It needs a couple of tyres. The oil leak, which we were fingers crossed it was what we thought it was.
Yeah.
So I don't think all in all too bad. I mean, if I'd paid over for it and then realised the problems, it would have been a different story. But we did buy it knowing there was a couple of issues. Yeah. A couple of issues.
A few minor issues. Right, let's get it apart. So we have got the 4.4 engine in this, the V8, the big one, which by the book are actually a very good engine. Now, if we look down here, hopefully you'll guys will be able to see it. There's a lot of oil sitting just next to that oil cooler. Hopefully you can sort of see that. Show you a couple of angles of it if the camera focuses. But there's oil everywhere down there. So essentially, we're going to have to get all this part of the inlet sort of side off, which is just mainly like the turbo pipes, the airflow going into the actual inlet manifolds, which are part of the rocker cover on these engines. They are on a lot of Land Rovers, and that's another nightmare, common fault. But we won't go into that today.
Can we guess what they've had on the radio 8 times today?
Pink Pony Club. That's, just for the record, that's Kieran's favourite song.
It's not my favourite song.
I mean, you can't actually sing it, because I think it's copyright on a YouTube video, as far as I'm aware. Although
well, if you can say that I'm singing it, I'm quite happy with that.
It is one of Kieran's personal favourites, just for the record.
It's not, it's just annoying and catchy. Well, that was easy, I'll put that back on there.
Is there anything metal underneath the bonnet? Is there anything metal underneath this bonnet?
Yeah.
Is everything made of aluminium?
Yes.
Because otherwise it's brass. Because it's a Land Rover.
It'll be alloy, but then there'll be steel bolts going into it.
Oh, that don't look good, does it?
What?
2 coolant pipes there going to the cooler, aren't there? But they look like they'll come off there, so that's all right. So just at the other record, I've never done one of these in my life. So if you've got any tips, drop us a comment, because that would be quite helpful.
Not if we've already done it by the time this goes out.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to make a start on it tonight, put it like that, because we've got quite a lot to do. Oh, and if you were wondering, Kieran hasn't grown. He's put the suspension in the lowest possible ride height setting, just so he can fit over the bonnet to undo his little clips. And he's not feeling too sharp today either, look.
Got man flu.
He's got man flu. Right, so we've got a few pipes off, bits and pieces. Yeah, God knows what I've got to take off next.
I'm just going to do as I'm told.
EGR pipe's got to come off. Them 2 8mm in there. You trusted to take them out and not drop them.
Pocket as well, because I'll be needing that.
Just getting these air pipes back. Looks like they're designed to be pushed over onto the actual
Got to plug off a bit more.
manifold bit. Yeah, like that.
There we go, and then they come back.
Should just
And it
lift
should.
up. But we've got a plug on the throttle body we've got to take off as well.
It's going to be the cheapest option. He said it's losing power. I said, I wonder if it's
There
strong
she
enough.
is. Yeah, we've got the top part off. As you can see, there is oil everywhere. So it does look pretty conclusive, but I don't think Kieran's ordered the right thing, or not enough of them, one or the other.
So you open the cooler, I watched a video on YouTube, and that gasket goes round it. And then it goes back on.
To be fair, it might be enough. Is there 2 in there? Just one?
No, it's just one big one, I believe. Because I watched a video on YouTube. Big up YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's a kiddie. Just pop this pipe off the cooler, and as you can see here, half the pipe has been left on the cooler and the other half is snapped out of here, so we're going to need another one of these pipes. That to me looks like it's just been getting hot cold over the years, and that's what's done that. It's just perished. So let's carry on getting this off.
I have no idea what you mean by that.
So the Torx ones are all part of the cooler, which is on the top there. But we're actually going to take the whole plate with the oil filter.
Okay, yes.
Off. Yeah, you see it?
Plate underneath, yes. I was thinking the full
Because
thing. I thought, what?
I don't want to touch anything. I don't need to.
No,
and
yeah,
this,
no, I see it now, yeah. So it'll be that plate there.
that's what
with
it's designed to do.
Yeah, of course.
And you'd split this, you see. Yeah, we're getting a lot of leakage down here now, so something's happening. What have we got? There must be one at the back here somewhere as well, I would have thought. Can't see. There's something there though, which feels. Was that even?
You've got one out in you.
They're the Torx. That was one there. There's quite a few, obviously. It's a big old plate, isn't it? But you've got
oils on the top, so with an oil you always start from the highest point.
Unless it's blowing up.
Unless, well,
You just have a feel around here in case I've missed some. That's the last thing you want to be doing is. Yes.
I just see that just there. What is that one?
Last thing you want to be doing is getting a hammer out or a pry bar, and then after about 15 minutes you go, oh yeah, there's another bolt in there, and you've bent the whole bloody thing. There we go. All right, let's just see if this will just lift off now.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Oh, we've got turbo boost, the turbo oil pipes on the back of it. That shouldn't be too much of an issue though. Let's pop it out. That is the gasket you've got. Let's have a look at this, see what this feels like. It's gone very...
The guy on YouTube said they go flat.
They do, they go square.
Yeah.
That's BMW
that's
suffer
why they
from this.
leak.
If we look on here, can you see how flat that's got there?
See the top surface.
You can compare it, can't you? And it's gone very rigidy as well, like rigid. There's not a great deal of flex in it. But the concern I have is this seal.
Yeah.
That's my concern. There's a good chance it might just be this, but the thing is, we've got to order this pipe anyway.
Yes, we may as well order that one.
So we may as well leave it apart, get it all cleaned up, and do it properly. Would be my
No, I agree.
my suggestion. So we're just taking the oil feed pipe off the back of this housing. I've just pulled that off, which looks like RTV to me. So I'm now starting to think, is this the problem? Because you've got a lot of pressure going through here, which leaks, which would cause a massive leak. If we look on these pipes here, you might just be able to see that. See this RTV on here? Someone's put silicone around it. And why the hell you wouldn't just change... There's 2 O-rings on there. Why you wouldn't just change that, I don't know. I'm going to make you a parts list tonight.
Got some sockets in your pockets?
Yeah, probably. Just going to have a look at the fan belt now and see if we can get that slipped off. So it's actually the next morning. Me and Kieran spent about 4.5 hours on this last night, and we've got all the oil cooler stripped down, which I'll show you in a second. But we're having big problems trying to get the Viscous fan off the front. Seems to be a notorious fault for so many people trying to work on these. I have now ordered a special tool to hold the pulley, which I'll put up on the screen now, which will hopefully aid us in getting the Viscous fan off. It looks like it's been done up seriously tight. So someone's had a bit of fun in here before by the looks of things, because there's chisel marks all over it. But yeah, I'll show you that now. So this is all the oil cooler housing. Kieran's actually, we had a chat about this last night. So Kieran's actually going to buy a whole new housing. There's a company called Nissan's who make all sorts of bits and pieces. He's actually ordered one of them, which I'll put on the screen right now, because there's another gasket internally in here, and Kieran's only got this one. And I had a chat with him last night, and we're concerned if there's been a bit of contamination into oil water in here, or that cooler's a little bit up the spout. For 160 quid, it's just worth replacing it. So he's got a whole brand new one of them, which we're going to wait for. Also, this is a pipe we're on about that has actually snapped internally and come off here. You could never put that back on like that. That would just leak coolant everywhere. It'd be a complete disaster. So he's ordered a new one of these from Land Rover as well. So we've got quite a lot of work ahead to do. Hopefully, as you can see there, this is the end of the Viscous fan. I'll just put my finger on it. Just down here. And if you can see that, there's horrendous chisel marks on this, which to be fair isn't new. You know, you do see this a bit on them, but we tried for at least an hour and a half getting this off. We had grips around this pulley, obviously spanners on here, just would not budge. So I've ordered the special tool to hold these 3 bolts, and I'm going to hope that we can get it off like that. Failing that, I might actually have to put a little bit of heat on this nut and see if we can crack it off that way. But the good thing in here is it's had a new water pump on it. But why they didn't change the fan belts when they put the water pump on, I will never know. But this is probably why, because they can do the pump without taking that off. But yeah, it's getting there now. This is obviously where all the oil cooler goes on. And then you've got your turbo feed pipe, oil feed pipe at the back. So we need 2 new O-rings for this one here. But yeah, so we're going to have to wait, I reckon, a couple of days before we get the bits and pieces we need to do it. Yeah, and to be honest, the oil cooler job we thought was going to be the longest bit about the repair we knew we needed to do on this in terms of the oil leak, and that doesn't look like it's the case. It looks like getting all the fan off is going to be the biggest problem, which is a bit ironic really, because that's supposed to be the easy bit. Join us back in a couple of days. We'll show you how we're getting on. if you're enjoying our videos, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't seen, we've got a Range Rover L322 full build. I'll put it up here on the screen so you guys can check that out too. Okay, so bit of an update. We've had a monumental problem of getting the Viscous fan off, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely have, yeah.
I did speak about this earlier in terms of the issue we're having with it. Now, this has resulted in getting some oxyacetylene and probably my favourite purchase of 2025 so far. Look at these!
Big shiny spanners.
That holds the pulley, which the Viscous fan bolts to. And that's a big spanner to get on there. We did try and crack it off with no heat, and we tried smacking this with a hammer. You can see the damage on the end of there. Tried everything, didn't we, again? And then I said to Kieran, I said, as whether you like it or not, I'm going to get some oxyacetylene out and hope that the Land Rover doesn't set on fire. So we got the...
It didn't.
Yeah, luckily it hasn't. We got the oxyacetylene out, really pinpointed it onto the nut of the Viscous fan. Got it nice and hot. Put these on, crack straight away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that just goes to show what a bit of heat does when stuff is seized. A bit of heat is amazing. Works really, really well. So we're starting to get somewhere. It's a bit one step forward, two steps back at the minute, isn't it? But I think it often is with these cars. You know, you find more the further you get along. But Kieran's got something shiny to show you as well.
So here we've got the new oil cooler, new gasket, new filter, and that was the heat exchanger, wasn't it? Didn't they say it was the...
Yeah, but it is an oil cooler.
No, yeah, so
the oil's going through that. It is a heat exchanger, it's the same thing.
yeah, originally I'd ordered a new gasket, and then it got to the point where we thought, well, this has got a gasket inside it as well. Why don't we replace the whole lot? So I've gone out, ordered a new one, and now hopefully we'll have no problems.
But we can't fit it yet.
But we can't fit it yet because we're waiting for a water pipe and some O-rings to go on here, which comes from the main oil feed into here. So we're waiting for some O-rings and we're waiting for a water pipe. And then hopefully I can get it back together and I can have my Range Rover back.
You must be quite deprived, actually.
Well,
you've just bought it.
I've just
to drive around.
I've just brought it, and then I sold my piece of my little car, and now I've got no car. So yeah, but the joys of owning a Range Rover, I suppose.
So you've spent in excess of £900 tax it. In excess of, I don't know, you're probably at what, 300 quid in parts?
Yeah, about that in parts. Yeah.
300 quid in parts.
Plus the insurance, and I've driven it.
And you've driven it
A handful of times, about 3 miles a day.
3 miles because it's humping oil out.
Yeah, so I've not been anywhere in it yet either. So yeah.
But we love them.
Well, yeah.
Okay, this can have all these problems,
But I don't care.
we don't care.
No.
You know, many of you people might knock them. I mean, tell us what you think about Range Rover.
And to be fair, if we didn't have this, you wouldn't be getting a video. So.
True.
But yeah, if you go online, everyone's got the same problem.
Yeah, it seems to be a very common fault. I mean, I would say it's not it's pretty easy fix, really. I mean, if you've got a set of tools and a little bit of knowledge, I think you'll tackle it quite well.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be. To be fair, the worst part was getting the fan off. That was a nightmare.
That was supposed to be the easy bit.
That was meant to be the easy bit. Like I say, a little bit of heat, boom, it came off easy.
Crazy, but we're getting there now. So next video, we'll be putting everything back together.
Fingers crossed. Next video.
It won't be next video, as in the next part of this video.
Yes, yeah.
I hope it's not the next video, because that would mean this has gone on for far too long. There we go. As you can see, we've got it off. And you have to be careful of these because they are a left-handed thread. Basically, you're holding the pulley and doing the nut up clockwise.
Which is a bit abnormal for me and you, I suppose.
Yeah, but the reason is when the engine's rotating, it's trying to do itself up, as far as I'm aware, unless someone wants to point me out otherwise. Okay, so Kieran's gone ahead, got some new O-rings for the turbo pipe, which comes off the back of the oil cooler. Just going to get the new ones on. And then we're going to start fitting the oil cooler, just giving everything a good clean up. Let's start getting it back together. Cleaned all of this up here. We'll put the new O-rings on, then we'll get the cooler on. We will just put a little smear of engine oil, well, new engine oil, around these seals just to aid getting them in and getting them seated as well. There we go. That looks much better. they're the two old ones, which look horrendous. And then we've got the two new ones on there now, all nice. Just dropped the cooler on in place. Just hooked it under this coolant pipe here and just putting all the 8mm bolts back in. Got the new pipe for the oil cooler. This is the one which broke. This one is now intact, so that just sits in there basically, like that. But we only need this top half, so we're just going to replace that. Okay, just finished putting it all back together. I didn't bore you with that because it's taken a while. We did have one problem. This pipe here, there's a quick release on it. That decided to snap for some reason, didn't it? There's the evidence. There's the evidence. So luckily I've actually got a kit which fitted it. I couldn't believe it, so I was well happy with that. That's the only problem we've had putting it back together. I've also got all the fan belts on now. Can't see it because I put it all back together, but I will say, I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted, that job. No, not at all. You know, it's not a particularly pleasant job, is it? No, get yourself an Alex and you'll be all right there. Right, moment of truth then.
Just give me 10 minutes, I've got to try and get inside. I haven't got one on the farm to reach through.
So just finished putting some coolant in it as well, and we're going to try and bleed it. Yeah, ready. Ooh, that sounds better. Yeah, belt noise has gone straight away. Is that squeaky as hell, wasn't it? It's horrible. Yeah, no, it sounds good, mate. Okay, we're just going to let it warm up now so we can check antifreeze level and oil as well. But we've had a look underneath and we've got no leaks, so Kieran's very happy about that, which is great. And then I can get the f***ing thing out of my workshop. We haven't made much mess, have we? Kieran's just going to go ahead and back the Range Rover off the ramp to show you how much mess this thing has made. Now, it's not all because of the leak which it had. Obviously, we've taken the oil cooler off, which has leaked antifreeze and oil on the floor because I couldn't get a drain tray right underneath it because we had to have the suspension in the lowest mode. So Kieran could actually reach his engine. This was the old fan belt. You can see, good job we replaced it. Okay, so job's a good one. Apart from the battery's flat now.
Well, yeah, that's my fault. Apparently I left the ignition on. Apparently.
So just topped up the oil. Little tip for you, if you're topping up oils on these, get them hot, go to the oil level display, press the cruise control cancel button twice and it shows you a live reading so you can top it up and watch it actually go up as you top it up. Little top tip for you. Going to get her on the road tonight and go and use her, aren't you?
Yep, put some miles under it, make sure there's no leaks, water and oil obviously.
And never sit in here ever again.
No, don't be silly. I've been here many a times.
I'm sure. If you'd like the video, there's plenty more like this to come in the future. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel and drop us a comment. Bye. I'm never working on a Range Rover ever again. Update.
Whoa, steady on.